Welcome back. The Sri Lankan Navy has categorically denied media reports and unsubstantiated allegations of firing by small boats belonging to the Sri Lankan Navy at Indian fishermen on the night of 6th March. According to the Sri Lankan Navy, the naval units were engaged in a scheduled two-day annual event at the Katchativu feast on the 11th and 12th of March, and therefore the patrols are being concentrated towards the island. Now, the Sri Lankan Navy has also said that their boats are not authorized to open fire at any point without prior approval of the commander of the Sri Lankan Navy. I'm going to go straight across now to Smita Sharma for more on this. Smita, a firm and curt denial by the Sri Lankan Navy amid huge anger in Tamil Nadu over the killing of the one fisherman.
Well, Avantika, the fisherman issue always remains a very sensitive issue between India and Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan Navy clearly, of course, as you mentioned, except from the press release that has been put out, they're being categorical in their denial that this incident took place because of naval shooting from their side. They're also, in fact, referring to the size of boats that patrol. They say that because from the Indian side, these are large trawling boats, which do bottom trawling. Which is why, in fact, small boats are not pressed in services. But the shooting incident seems to have happened off a small size boat. But at the end of the release, in fact, the Sri Lankan Navy does say that given that the shooting incident has taken place, that somebody's life has been lost, they are looking into the veracity of these allegations, and they're also going in for complete investigation. Because remember, from the Indian side, in fact, the issue has been raised at the highest level. India's High Commissioner Taranjit Sandhu, my apologies, has raised it directly, in fact, with the Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who has assured of probing the case in all thoroughness.
Absolutely, and I think that's the point, isn't it, Smita, that just after so many incidents of this kind of, unfortunate deaths or reports of our fishermen, or for that matter, the fishermen from Sri Lanka straying into the other water, finding themselves languishing in jails, how both the countries have still not been able to sit across and find a solution to this long-lasting issue.
This has always remained, an emotive issue because this hinges on the issue of livelihood of fishermen. So while there is a humanitarian aspect to it, there's the other issue of environmental consequences. From the Sri Lankan side, the allegations being that, the Indian fishermen really go into deep waters and try and take away the livelihood of their fishermen. Despite that, they say that they try and exercise as much restraint as possible. In this latest press release, they are giving out the numbers saying that there are 146 Indian trawlers and 85 Indian fishermen who are currently, in fact, arrested by Sri Lankan authorities for poaching. Similarly, on the Indian side too, we have seen these arrests being made. The Joint Commission exists, which includes people from fisheries, from navies on both sides. Fishermen themselves have been involved in these talks. Several rounds have taken place. But this definitely does remain a complicated issue, especially given the fact that when you talk about maritime boundaries, it's perhaps a scientific something to map for the officials to see through satellite imagery. But for the fisherman who's going out there into the waters, those lines, those demarcations are something that can get blurred more often than not.
Absolutely. Smita Sharma, thank you so much for joining us.